you guys, we're gonna make lemon bars because it just feels right. I have my yellow shirt on. Do you see what I'm doing here? Coordinating with my dessert. Anyway, first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna make shortbread. And on top of that, we're gonna lay down lemon curd, homemade of course, and that's basically a lemon custard. So first things first is shortbread. So I have a little 8-inch square pan, and I have cut a piece of parchment paper that's the same width, but a little bit longer on one side. So first I spray down, I place the paper, then I spray again, and then I flour. This is gonna help make it really easy to lift up the whole end result, because we're gonna want to put this in the fridge after and then lift it, and I'll show you how I do that once it's set. Okay, so I have that. Basically that's it. Okay, so I'm just gonna like clank it so that I get rid of some of the excess. Okay, so that's set, set. So here I wanna show you what that looks like. About a stick of butter. It's 8 tablespoons, and I've melted it almost all the way. So now I'm gonna add sugar, which is 3 tablespoons, salt, half a teaspoon, and then 1.25 cups of flour. But don't worry about this because I'm gonna write it down on the blog. I should have added my vanilla first because that's what I tend to do, but now I'm gonna add it now, which is a teaspoon. That looks more like a teaspoon and a half, but I always go a little bit extra. You could use a paddle attachment to put these together, but I'm just gonna do it by hand just because it's typically what I like to do when I'm with you guys making recipes. So it comes together pretty easily. If you do use an attachment for shortbread or any kind of cookie, I always say go metal and don't go plastic because it will break. Okay, so that's come together really easily, really nicely. So now I'm gonna put it here. And actually, I'm gonna clank this one more time, just one sec. Okay. So I'm gonna get this. Oh, I'm gonna speak up a little bit. I'm talking too quietly. Shh. Okay, so I have the dough and I'm trying to put it together, and now I'm just gonna place it here and kind of knead it down into the bottom of the pan. Down at my feet, I have our dog playing with a ball, and it's kind of funny. That's it. You hear that little jingle jingle sound? That's her. Okay. So now I'm just gonna use the bottom side of my measuring cup, and I'm gonna press it down to make it smooth. And it really does not have to be perfect, but it's always nice to have an even layer down. And I'm doing this kind of quickly, or kind of rushed, a little bit rushed, not really. Okay. So that looks pretty good. Yeah, that feels about even. And I could apply a little bit more pressure and really get it to be even. See, this takes a little bit extra time if that's what you want. If you want it to be a little more perfect. I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, so this is not perfect, but it's good and it's for home, so it's all good. Okay, now I just take a fork, a metal fork, and I'm gonna apply just gonna touch it a little bit. Little holes, not all the way through, but at the top. And that's really it. And the reason why I'm doing that is so that it doesn't rise up in certain places, because I want it to bake evenly. I'm gonna bake this at 350 for 10 to 15 minutes, depending on how brown it's looking in my oven. And then I'm gonna pull it out, and then we're gonna make the custard next to go on top. So I'll show you what it looks like once we're done with that. All right. Okay, you guys, we got step number 2. It's about to happen for our lemon bars. So here is the shortbread that has been baked, and it is cooled, as you can see, because my hands can touch it. let's make some lemon curd, shall we? All right. So this is exactly how I make it for my work. All right, so I'm gonna do it just that way. You're gonna taste it just the way you taste it if you ordered from me, but you're just gonna make it at home, okay? Let's do it. We have 2 sticks of butter that are softened, okay? So what I do is, I just kind of use my paddle and kind of break it up a little bit. Then I'm gonna clip it right in. Now, if you don't have a standing mixer, that's fine. You don't need a standing mixer for this. Just any way to mix that you want. So I'm gonna get this, if you wanna come in, Mark, I'm gonna get the butter. Oh, okay. I'm gonna get the butter to completely cover the bottom of the pan. Okay, so I'll let you see what that looks like, and then we're gonna add some basic ingredients. It's very simple and so delicious. Okay, so you can see, this is what my butter looks like right now. All creamed, okay? Now I'm gonna add a cup of sugar, and I'm gonna add a little bit of salt. Even though it is salted butter, I'm still adding a little bit of salt. I know what they say, that bakers should only use unsalted butter, but I only use salted butter. That's what I do. Okay, so now we're gonna separate some eggs. We're gonna use 2 whole eggs and 2 egg yolks. So I'm just gonna separate these, plop them in. 1. It's a little bit messy, that's okay. 2. Okay, I'll mix those in. Okay, and I'm gonna add another one. And I'm not doing the trick this time that I typically put my egg in like a container to look, but I can see that there's no shell, so I'm good. Okay. The eggs are coming in, and the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add cornstarch, because that is what I use as a thickening agent. So a lot of people use flour. I choose not to use flour because some of my recipes are gluten-free and it's just easier, and I like that result better. This is the part where you're gonna wanna add it though. Okay, so I want you to just take a look at that beautiful color. There's no food coloring in this recipe. There shouldn't be. I never use food coloring for my lemon curd. Okay, so now I have squeezed these lemons, and I need a 1/3 cup. That's perfect. And I'm gonna add that in, and I'm gonna mix it away. So anytime you're mixing a recipe that has fruit, it's always the very last thing. I've learned the hard way over many years, many trials, always use fruit last. So it looks kind of funny because we are not even close to being done. Now we're gonna cook it, okay? So I'm gonna scrape my paddle, and I'm gonna get all the goodness, or most of the goodness, okay? All right, and I'm gonna set that down, and now I'm going to put all of this into a little saucepan, okay? I don't know why I'm perspiring right now, but I am. All right. So I'm trying to get it all, not waste anything. Okay, so there's that. So this is 1 batch, and it's gonna be just enough for our lemon bars. Got to have a little tricky stovetop here. All right, so I have a wire whisk, and I'm gonna whisk this by hand. I'm going to use a little handy thermometer, and let me tell you, don't even bother making this or any kind of custard if you don't have a thermometer, and here's why. You are probably gonna waste your ingredients because you can't tell by looking what the temperature is. And I've made this, I'm not exaggerating, I mean, at least 100 times. So many times I've made lemon curd. And really precision for this kind of dessert is what you need. And these are really cheap and you can find them anywhere. It is nothing fancy. So what I do is I whisk all around, and I know that it's not there yet, so I check every now and then just to see where we're at. This whole process is probably not going to take more than like 10 minutes. Probably faster than that. I never really time it, to be honest. So I try to get mine, in fact, I don't try, I do. I get my temperature to 180, 181. And at that point, I am shutting it off. That's not really typical for a lot of lemon curds to go that high. But for me, I like it very firm. I don't like it running, especially for lemon bars. I want the lemon curd to be nice and firm. And still maintain like a really silky feel when you're eating it and enjoying it. So, so right now I'm only at 120. I'm gonna just set that down for a sec and switch my arms. I'm at medium heat right now. So when I do this for work, I'm using a induction range and an induction pan, and I like it a little bit better because the heat is even throughout the whole pan, and I prefer even. So when you're at home, like I am, we're home bakers right now, it's not even though you have a nice, even if you have a nice pan, like, you know, I have a nice pan that's gonna last forever, it's not even. So I don't know if you guys could tell, but I am a lefty, so I'm gonna switch. It's just easier for me to whisk when I'm lefty. Okay, so it's starting to get thick. We're at 148, 149. It will go up and up. Traditionally, lemon curd, when people make it, they're trying to get to 170 degrees. Like I told you, I get to 180. And you know that it's starting to get done when it's thick. It's getting thicker, and it's gonna start to boil and bubble. Usually I'm making 2 to 3 batches at a time, so it's a little bit easier to measure because there's more in my pan, but you can see it's starting to bubble. It's getting there. Yeah, it's looking so good. We're almost there. Thanks for bearing with me. I think it's good to see this video because you could really see what the real life deal is for making this. We're almost there. Let's see, 78, yep, I'm gonna shut it off, 79, 80, okay, there it is. Okay, so now I'm gonna take all this bubbly goodness, and you really don't wanna go above 180, and the reason why is because it will come up at you and burn you. You don't want that. So here I go, I'm gonna take this. Sachi's gonna follow me, I'm not gonna get her. Hello. Okay, I'm gonna pour this right in. There it is. Yes, it looks so good. Okay, I'm gonna set that down. I have a little slotted spatula. I use this all the time. Probably every time I'm working, I'm using a slotted spatula. That's a little baby seed, we want that out. So I'm gonna use the spatula to just smooth it down, okay? And make it even. Okay. And I believe we're done. So I'm going to basically just kind of just do that. And I'm perspiring a little bit, sorry, a little glistening. I'm gonna put this in the fridge. I'm gonna let this set and chill, and it's gonna take an hour? I'm not sure, honestly. I don't usually ever check how long it takes, so I'll let you know how long it takes, because in the next third part is me cutting into it so you can see what the final result is. All right. Okay, you guys, last night we made lemon bars. Can you hear me okay? Okay. And I thought they were gonna be ready in an hour. Nope, not 2 hours. I think it's closer to 3 hours. So your lemon bars are gonna be set after 3 hours. Think of it like Jell-O. So this is the pan. This is what they look like. okay? And I'm gonna use the slotted spatula to just lift it off the sides. Okay. And then my little trick with the paper is so that, and I could tell that it has cracked in the middle, but that's okay. We're gonna go with it. All right, here are our lemon bars. So I'm gonna separate them from the paper. And I'm gonna go ahead and cut it right on here. So, because I'm a crazy person and I like perfection, even though these are not perfect, I tend to cut the edges off, and then the ones that I'm gonna offer are the ones in the middle. So I'm gonna kind of do that because I'm just gonna show you my real deal. I like using a big knife so that I can have one piece. And this is what they look like, see? With the shortbread and the lemon. Okay, and I'm just gonna do like that, and then I'll just cut. Actually, I'm in my light here, so let's try that. Nice little squares. Okay. These are gonna be a little smaller. That's okay, we're just going with it. These will not be thrown out, don't worry. These will be enjoyed, these little edges here. Okay. Now I'm gonna get rid of that little edge. Typically, I would have something to wipe down my knife. I'm just going to use the edge of my little pan here. Make them square, except for those little rectangles right there. That's fine. Oops. Clumsy, that's me. All right. You know what? We'll put 3 down. 3's my favorite. So we got our little lemon bars. And then to finish them off, I'm gonna put a little bit of powdered sugar on it and just dust that right on. Oops. See, it's not perfect. This is the real deal. All right. Okay, you guys. We have the real deal lemon bars. I hope you like this recipe, and you know it's perfect for the weekend. It's about to be Mom's Day. Enjoy this. Let me know if you have any questions. All right.